To come out transgender is horribly difficult. It is the most difficult thing you can do. I've been overseas, I've flown helicopter missions, surveillance missions, I've been shot, stabbed. Being brave is being yourself, and being transgender is about the bravest thing you can do.
Fakes, frauds, and floozies.
Why would you call it delusion?
Because Bruce Caitlyn Jenner, I'll call him Caitlyn Jenner.
No, it's her. You're not being polite to the pronoun.
Because
disrespect.
Okay, forget about the disrespect. Facts don't care about your feelings. It turns out that every chromosome, every cell in Caitlyn Jenner's body is male with the exception of some of his sperm cells. It turns out that it turns out that he still has all of his male appendages. How he feels on the inside is relevant to the question of his biological side.
I don't agree with that. I'm not on that train. I'm not on that train. She wants to be called she. I'm going to call her she. I have a certain kind of a male. Versus, did she deserve this award? Listen, awards. What are award ceremonies except an opportunity to catch some eyes? Especially the SLA. ESPN. Well done, ABC. They did exactly what their job was. To attract eyes. They did it. That's what award ceremonies are for. But in terms of the science behind gender dysphoria, you're very familiar with that. So
very familiar.
It's not about the chromosome. Excuse me, the chromosomes within our nuclei. Yeah,
chromosomes don't necessarily mean you're male or female.
Gender.
With gender
identity. Go ahead. So,
especially, but even so, you have a thing like Klinefelter's syndrome. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated on genetics.
No, genetics. So let's get away from the genetics and back to the brain scans.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home and memories.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Yeah, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
No, I know. Well, to be fair, you're actually being... Hey, guys. No, that's not fair.
I'm sorry, it's not rude to say that someone who's biologically a male is a male. Someone who's biologically male is a male.
Catch it, bitch!
Eat a Snickers.
Why?
You get a little hostile when you're hungry. Better? Better.
Marcia.
Jan, this isn't about you.
It never is!
Better? Better.
Earth angel, will you be mine, my darling dear? Love you all the time. I'm just a fool in love with you. Earth angel, the one I adore. Love you forever and evermore.
And now for the Hall of Lame.
Okay, last time. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. This is your brain on drugs.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
Any questions?
Where we're at right now with the debate under President Trump within, I'll say, the broader freedom movement, because it seems like a lot of people within this debate are abandoning libertarian principles, are abandoning the ethics of anarchy, of freedom of movement, of right to travel, of, hello, the only legitimate borders are private property borders. If you want government-enforced borders, you're a socialist. You want... government borders and national security will be a lot further along towards freedom. So this is a very important cause for me and Jeff. I don't need to tell you, Mr. Flagburners.
You're the biggest pussy I've ever met in my life.
What's going on? So I
How does that feel?
Credibility in this conversation, and for a fun little civil disobedience experience,
Shut the fuck up. Stop being a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. Nobody even wants you here.
Shut the fuck up!
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
Some people are really fucking stupid.
Did you ever notice that? How many really stupid people you run into during the day? God damn, there's a lot of stupid bastards walking around. Carry a little pad and pencil with you. You wind up with 30 or 40 names by the end of the day. Look at it this way. Think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half of them are stupider than that. And it doesn't take you very long to spot one of them, does it? Take you about 8 seconds. You'll be listening to some guy. You say, this guy is fucking stupid. Then there are some people, they're not stupid, they're full of shit. That doesn't take very long to spot either, does it? Take you about the same amount of time. You'll be listening to some guy and say, well, he's fairly intelligent. He's full of shit. Then there are some people, they're not stupid, they're not full of shit, they're fucking nuts!
Now let's go over some of Sergeant Shit for Brains nonsense. Numero uno. He's just a newbie who hasn't thought things through and has unfortunately been dining off of retarded pranks like dancing at the Jefferson Memorial and prancing with the rifle in DC. All of which is super lame bullshit. Fortunately, people like Stefan Molyneux and Lou Rockwell are beginning to understand what this channel has been saying all along. They don't completely understand the environmental and ecological components, however they are becoming more logical concerning invasion issues, whereas whores like Sergeant Shit for Brains completely miss the concepts. The biggest problem is that the United States is massively overpopulated, 50% beyond its biocapacity as well as its political and infrastructure capacity, and this moron wants to open the floodgates which will totally destroy the country and its environment. There are morons with super stupid agendas like Sergeant Shit for Brains all over the place, who don't understand libertarianism and are misrepresenting it to work their sleazy scams. So let's just start over and explain what libertarianism is and how it works. Libertarian principles and philosophies were perhaps first articulated in the classical era of civilization, which would be approximately 1000 BC to 500 AD. In this era there were great philosophers such as Lao Tzu, Socrates. Libertarian values expressed in the Old and New Testaments. Patanjali, who developed and advanced yogic philosophy and practices as the ultimate pathways to liberation from all attachments, psychological, physiological, social, economic and cosmological. These philosophers in the classical era were certainly not the first to express libertarian ideas, for as they say, libertarian values and principles are inherent in nature. The classical era was simply perhaps the first time that these ideas were incorporated into whole working philosophies that help people develop the mechanics of civilizations as well as private behaviors that accommodate the blessings of liberty as later stated in the Constitution. In the second millennia AD, from say 1000 AD to the present, sciences and technologies and science-based philosophies became the biggest forces of liberation as well as tyranny. The UK became the birthplace of many libertarian forces, including advanced sciences and technologies and political systems as well, which was then absorbed in America and upgraded. Of course, the Western sciences could be used as tools for liberation as well as tyranny, all of which is evolving currently. The UK had the tremendous advantages of a water border which could then be used to protect the development of its technologies as well as protect it from attacks such as the Spanish Armada in 1588. Of course, the Spanish tried the same crap in South America and walked right through the tribes because they had no sophistication of defense or advanced technologies, which is why they speak Spanish in the Latino countries and we speak English in the UK and America, and English is the first language choice throughout the world, because they had the superior defenses, cultural, scientific and technological society. Unfortunately, the United States has been under attack and invasion from time to time, during various periods such as the Revolutionary War in the late 1700s, the War of 1812, the Spanish-American War, the Mexican-American War, the Civil War, which involved millions of Negroes who were imported as slaves, who Lincoln was going to repatriate, the invasions of cheap labor used for the building of American industries such as rail and factories, the Pearl Harbor attack by Japan, and now the hijacking of the country with hordes of millions of immigrants through globalist legislations and non-enforcement. Approximately 10 to 15,000 years ago, the Indians were possibly the first invaders coming from East Asia across the Bering Strait. They lacked the cultural, scientific, and technological sophistication, however, to defend their territory, so they lost it. Which is what may happen to the United States if it doesn't get its act together and remain prey to the continued onslaught of attacks from third world and socialist countries and influences.
To get your freedom if the route is about, espousing anarchy, and you know what, you're living in America right now and you're not free. And so if you want more freedom, you can cry about, ideally in some, I would like to have anarchy, but you ain't gonna get it. Maybe not in America. You're gonna have to leave and live on an island someplace, and maybe you can have anarchy. But if you want to stay in America, and there's an if there, you don't have to stay. And I wouldn't blame you if you left. But if you want to stay in America and you want to change it so that it's more free, so it's more like what it used to be than what it is. Now, what it used to be wasn't anarchy, but it was pretty good, and I'd settle for that.
I'm not against political action. I definitely see it as a potential stepping stone on our way there, but a lot of people would see that now political advocacy, asking permission from the man for how we're going to challenge the power of the man is a futile effort, and we're better off engaging in agorism and civil disobedience and tax evasion, as your father was such a great champion of, and that things like that.
In jail, but
it's a very good point, but there's a different
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
So basically what these brain-mangled morons do is dismiss any and all defense, overpopulation, ecological and environmental protection concerns, whilst promoting half-baked anarchical philosophies, and confusing them with libertarian principles. Bottom line, anyone who valued liberties would be very concerned about their security, which is completely lost on these faker moron sellouts. What Sergeant Shit for Brains is doing is just further stinking up the Libertarian Party with his plan to run for President Shit for Brains, who will of course be financed by donations from the typical suspects such as illegal aliens, idiots, and America haters.
Is thoroughly insubstantial, lacking in what the connoisseur of wine calls body, and in so many other ways. The riches that we produce are ephemeral. And as a result of that, we're frustrated. We're terribly frustrated. We feel that the only thing is to go on getting more and more. And as a result of that, the whole landscape begins to look like the nursery of a spoiled child who's got too many toys and is bored with them and throws them away as fast as he gets them, plays them well for a few minutes. Also, we're dedicated to a tremendous war on the basic material dimensions of time and space. We want to obliterate their limitations. We want to get everything down as fast as possible. We want to convert the rhythms and the skills of work into cash, which indeed you can buy something with, but you can't eat it. And then rush home to get away from work and begin the real business of life, to enjoy ourselves.
So why do you hate Downward Dog so much?
I hate Downward Dog because I think it's demeaning to women. That's like sending out an invitation to a party in your butt.
Very interesting.
I tell him to take a hike.
Last word, I believe Trump is going to win.
Okay, we gonna put some money on it?
Gotcha, bitch!
We can do better than this.
Better? Better.
It turns out to be this purely passive contemplation of a twittering screen. A twittering screen. A twittering screen. A twittering screen. A twittering screen.